Hello, this video is not sponsored. I paid just over $86 for this over 2,400 piece Lumibricks Bamboo House set. The regular retail price is $115 US, but they do sales all the time, including when they first release a new product. And those sales are usually on both Amazon and their own website. Of course, the Lumi in Lumibricks represents illumination or luminance, and this has a full light kit built into it. And that includes some very nice light elements outside. And you've got some in the main lower floor here and in the upper floor as well. Take a look at some of those and also how you can access this without taking it completely apart or without even taking off the different levels. First of all, let me quickly give you a general lay of the land, just show you what the whole thing looks like overall. This has an irregular base to it. It is built on plates followed by tiles. So the lowest points out here in the watery zone just have that thickness of 2 plates or 2/3 of a brick. Around the sides and the back, there are some terrain builds. You have all this bamboo that gets built up around 2 sides. I presently am powering this, as always, with just an external USB, little battery pack. But this, as usual, will let you use just regular double A's, with 3 of those being used in a battery pack, which for a change actually gets integrated into the build. Previously, they've had that kind of stuck on the outside. This one has a space for it to actually be slotted in here. So this is the standard battery box that it comes with, and you can choose how to power it. Again, coming around the side, more terrain, and then this is where we started. If you could do me a favor, please let me know whether you prefer that I start with that darker scene or fully illuminated like this. When I first started doing reviews of stuff from this company, a handful of folks were very vocal about wanting me to focus on the darker scenes so you can see the lights more. But since then, I've seen more and more people that have gravitated towards being able to just see the whole thing, right? I want you to understand what you're looking at, and I don't want to portray it in any particular light or darkness. I just want to show you the whole thing. So let me know which of the lighting setups for the whole studio that you prefer to start with and to focus on. But now with the lights fully on, you can see the details a lot better. This is a little suggestion of a Japanese maple, which is put kind of off grid. It's at an angle. These lamps really surprise me because of the way that the light comes out the sides. I mean, there's nothing special going on with there. The light source is down below, but it's so bright. It puts so much light in there that it creates this really, really nice effect that's stronger than I expected. Also, I did not expect there to be all these different types of prints on different colors. You got 3 different prints just for the lily pads alone. Up here on the deck, I'm going to go ahead and move only 2 figures included. Move those out of the way so you can see you've got some leaves from the Japanese maple that are printed onto this tile here. The tea has a print. There's actually an alternate that they give you where you can do like a flower-based tea instead. You've got a print for the mat right there, the pad area. And then over here on the side, this was the first place that I started to really experience just how deep they went with the prints in this set. This is one. That's another right there. There's another. In total, 4 different prints on different shapes of pieces just for the little walkway on the side. I really feel like they didn't need to do those. It's very nice that they're there. It really adds a lot, but it just shows that they're not trying to be cheap. Almost the opposite. You've got the shoes back here, which are prints as well. And even that vase has a print on it, which, yeah, it's really nice, especially combined with the color. Before I start really showing you the interior more, I'll go ahead and point out that's a print right there. The eaves, the sides of the roof sections are a little bit repetitive. One of the most repetitive things in the whole build. Of course, you've got these to worry about, but at least these, for the most part, the bamboo stalks here are done at different points throughout the build. They don't have you do all of them at once. Up here, more prints as well. Just showing little bamboo leaves. There are also additional bamboo leaf detritus prints that you can't see yet. You've got the nice horizontal shades here as well. I think that's it for hidden details for now, but I do want to start to show you the interior a bit, and this does have areas that can be pulled out. So this can be opened up on this side, this can be opened up on this side, and then down here there's a hinge as well. But to get to that, obviously you need to get the bamboo, mostly some of this bamboo, out of the way, and they made that very easy. So this whole section of terrain removes with just a couple of clips and has a couple of little guiding rails here, the modified plate pieces to allow you to make sure that those go back into exactly the correct place. And now I can open these up here and here, and then I can open up the bottom. And I already had this side sliding door open, but if I close it, you can see there's a different print here. So, not just repeating the exact same piece, a larger part over here, which gives you better access to seeing inside because it doesn't block. If they use two short ones side by side, just shift it over, you would see the frame of the inside one, and then you wouldn't be able to see the painting that's being painted right there with a little panda in bamboo forest. Looks like it's pretty much done as well, but we'll see more of the interior detail as I get into things a little bit deeper. But with this opened up, there we go. Yeah, just see inside, just get a better feel for just what it looks like in reality. Without doing the posing, without doing proper disassembly. Only took off the exterior terrain bits. And that was nice and simple and easy. This actually is able to slide as well, so you can move that out the way. There's a wardrobe behind there. There's a printed tile here on top, and then these are just a couple of extra torsos. There are actually two prints up against the wall that you essentially don't see anymore at all because they're just completely covered, and that whole thing is underneath the stairway, and another place where they didn't need to do as much as they did. And then in the upper floor, there's a bath over here with steps on the side as well. So you can put a figure down in there, and they just have a few details off to the side that you can access right from here, for the sake of convenience. And then on this side, you can access the bed, so you can kind of balance a figure on their back over there. But there's not a whole lot of additional detail to see there until I show you the whole thing with the roof off. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and pull the roof off. I already went around and verified that the electrical connection to this segment here is on this side. They still have the same 1x4 modified plate or tile connectors that transfer electricity between different floors, and there is a little trick to getting those to separate properly because unfortunately they just have still a little bit too much clutch power in there. This piece likes to get stuck on the piece that it's connected to, and then that leaves its wire hanging out, and it's a whole thing. So as long as you push down on that side, rotate in the direction of the connector, it's usually going to be fine. Just something you have to watch out for, and I'm still hoping that they will fix that problem because it's been a problem since they introduced these parts. It's just a minor annoyance, really, and something that you just shouldn't have to know to deal with. These are the only lights that are used for the upper floor, but they are enough, and it's a nice warm white color that's used. Now, it's interesting that they include glass panes here. This could have been done with just timbers, it could have been just open, but they added in the suggestion of glass panes and the suggestion of bamboo leaves that have collected in there just a little bit from just the wind blowing them around. So still more prints, 3 more prints in there, which most of the time you're not even going to see. This is an area that is accessible. I guess that's why it has the glass in there to make it a little extra nice. But I would have expected in real life for that to just be using wood, but this is even nicer. This is like extra luxury. So this is the access for the figures to get out there and just have a nice decorative wall element over on this side, which adds in some extra depth. And when I close this up so you can see where the bathtub would actually be, somebody, unfortunately, with this orientation of the bathtub, their head is going to be facing that way. I would like to turn it around so that their head is actually facing towards the window there. That would be nicer to see. Nothing to see on this inside wall, unfortunately. It's one of the lowest areas of detail. And rotating that around, here's just how everything fits and just a better look at the bed. Some nice little grill textures or trellis style textures in here, but no other small fine details. Now to remove this floor so we can see the bottom floor, I went around, verified that the electrical connector here is on this side. So I'm going to push down on this side and rotate in that direction. See here, I needed to go in this direction, rotate in this direction. Now I need to go in that direction. You just have to check. It's that one little quirk that's still there. So pulling up from the other side, and this should break loose, and I shouldn't have any wires connected. Okay, yep, that worked out fine. So here you can see one light is right there, one light is right there. And then looking from above, you can see the sparse details that are nice. This is a koto here. It's just a printed pair of tiles. It actually came pre-assembled. You can also see another print for the rock here just outside. Another, just a copy, not a different print, not a different style of print this time around, just another of the round tatami there. And off to the side, this was a really nice detail that was added in fairly early on. It's a tea cup, but it has a longhorn horn that has been recolored to transparent clear with a frosted finish. So it looks like steam. It looks like steam that's just wafting up. That's sort of very, very hot cup right there. So that's pretty nice and unexpectedly nice. And then over here, you can see a little bit better what the painting looked like. And yeah, just some of the instruments for painting. And that's just it. Very sparse details. This was where this is. So I'll go ahead and close this up. And yeah, they do use the same type of material, the same type of plastic material for both halves of the hinge pieces. And therefore you get that sound as the things move because it's a more durable type of plastic. And it's just what happens there. Now, this is not a problem here. You see two different colors. Neither of these, if you're only familiar with the leading brand, neither of these are colors that you're familiar with. Because one of them is a cream color. It's an off-white with some yellowish brown in it. And the other one is a very light gray. Not light gray, but very light gray. It's slightly beigeish. I believe it has a little bit of color in it. But those are intentional. Those are intended to be different colors, just adding to the warmth and the general earthy tone. Sorry about the poor focus in some points along the way, but that pretty much covers stuff. I'll go ahead and show you for context what the outside looked like again with the deck here. Nice little spacing here with the slats as well, and access off to the side, and a nice design. I guess we didn't see this that well. The four-sided or four-leaf design built into the wall, which a person can also go through, but it's mostly intended to be decorative, and it's nice. One other thing I can point out here, a couple other things. First of all, the koi is printed. Oh, I did it upside down. This whole time I've had it upside down. Sorry about that. Didn't even realize it. Or wait a minute. No, I didn't. Sorry. Confusing myself. Okay. Printed koi is kind of nice. Again, you can see how this is lit up only from the inside. A little bit of wire shows up. Not a whole lot of wire is visible throughout the whole thing. This is actually light inside the bamboo, and it pulses. Didn't realize that until quite a ways along the way because it's rather subtle. It pulses, and it's the same thing over here on this side. That one's doing the same thing. Nice. And it's, again, subtle, not too bright at its brightest, and just doesn't do too much. These are prints that are actually done separate from one another, which is rare for this company because they couldn't pre-assemble these, just onto plates. Usually, if they have multiple parts that need to be together, just like they did with the instrument back there, they will pre-assemble them. But these came separate, and I was happy to see that the prints did line up regardless. During the build, I encountered two issues that I was able to get past just fine, but I do want to call them out. First of all, these bamboo, as you can see, they are in two colors. You've got the regular green and then the bright green color. And they give you bags of parts, and sometimes you'll be seeing the parts together, the two different colors together. And they don't distinguish those well in the instructions. Most of the time, they will show you differences, like if there are two different very similar slopes, they will show you, okay, in this bag, you're going to see this size and this size. Use this size. But with these two greens, they didn't do that. So when I was starting out, I forget if it was the first or second stalk. I'm not going to call them trees because bamboo is just a grass. I had trouble figuring out which color I was supposed to be using, the bright or the darker green. So yeah, that could have been done better. But I just looked up reference pictures of the thing on their website and saw which one I was working on, and okay, it's supposed to be that color. It worked out fine in the end, but yeah, it's an area that they could improve upon. They're usually pretty good at stuff like that. The other thing was, it's right here. There's a little area where all the wires come together. It's the power distribution board right here beneath the power indicator. There are 4 wires that connect into that, And I followed the instructions for how to order those. And one of them came up just a little bit short. It was one of the ones that was attached towards the far end, the closest to us. And the wires are coming from the opposite side. So I just needed to rearrange those, move that one all the way to that far end so that I could be able to pull this out all the way to access it. That's it. Just had to rearrange it. And then it's perfectly fine. There's actually a little bit extra. And that was just for the convenience of being able to plug the final plug in right towards the end. You can also access this from the top, from the inside. It is not covered up. You might have seen that through a hole in the floor up above. They could have put a tile over that to cover it up, but this is how it is. And I just wanted to point out that you might end up a little bit short here if you had the same luck that I did. And if that happens, just swap them around and it'll work out just fine. One last thing about the bamboo, they don't have you do all of them at once. Thank goodness. They really, really spread the bamboo builds out throughout the entire build. I think it's slightly end loaded. You do a little bit more of it towards the end after finishing the main structure build. But early on, you start building this removable terrain bit. They have you do one or two, and then you move on to doing other stuff. So it never feels like you're getting bogged down doing the same thing. And these are not identical by any means. I think every single one of them is unique in the arrangement of parts. So it looks random enough. I do appreciate that they use just one color per stock. They didn't try to mix them together too much, other than I think one of them has a different color just at the base. Yeah, just right there. Otherwise, they're consistent through, which looks appropriate to me. For something that's brick-based, it's ABS plastic. And I think it's important to not try to get too serious when designing sets made from brick-based plastic. Embrace what it is, embrace the medium, and go with the colors as the parts kind of ask for. And that's what they've done here. And I appreciate that. Now, building each one, there are some things that you repeat along the way, just like with the roof sections. Don't tear it apart. It's just using some ball joints in there. You just align it how you want. But it just didn't feel bad to me. Overall, the flow felt as good as reasonably could. They tried to space things out that were going to be boring and, or repetitive. And it just felt like I was making good progress throughout, had a nice rhythm. Here are the two figures, and here's the information that I have to repeat quickly in every single video for newer folks who haven't seen previous videos. No company is able to do figures like this legally. There's a well-established trademark on this entire design and everything about it. So for companies to do anything that's even close, they have to change everything at least a little bit. They have to be legally distinct. So folks who only want this kind of style, well, this isn't that style, and that's the end of it. Some folks like these, some folks don't. Either way, here they are. These are the ones that are included. I think that the print qualities are pretty good here for what the style is, for how they're designed. Everything articulates as you would expect, with the addition also of the waist joint being able to rotate around. The arms have a bit of a diagonal traverse though. When you bring them up, it starts to kind of cross the face, which is something different. Not necessarily what you always want. They usually have the range that you need. You can rotate the wrists as well. They can hold on to things, but this is showing the alternate faces. So each of these has an alternate face, and this one obviously has her spa mask on to be relaxing in the tub upstairs. Finally, as usual, there are a disturbing number of leftover extra pieces. This is the brick separator. This is a pair of tweezers, safe tweezers to help you with wiring if you need that. This is a tiny Phillips head screwdriver for getting into the battery box. For safety reasons, they have to have a screw on that. These are some extra parts for wire routing. There's exclusive parts for wire routing. This is the extra print for the T. I mentioned the flower T option, so you could swap that in. It's literally just an option because they wanted to give you the option of different types of T. This is a piece that I had not seen before, the corner 2x2 modified tile with the single stud in the corner. And then finally, some of these these are kind of following a pattern that I've seen hints of in other recent Lumibricks sets. You get extra of the clear regular stud piece those actually come with the bags where you are inserting lights that are clear 1x1 stud pieces. They come with those bags as alternates. I'm pretty sure they don't call it out in the instructions, but I'm pretty sure they're trying to make it so that if you want to build these sets like some people want to do without lighting for some reason, because they just don't want to deal with the wiring and stuff, you can put these in and they represent lights instead. And it's the same thing with these. I think there are too many of these here, but a couple of those have electronic versions of them that are used for the base of the stone lamps out in the yard. So they give you extras so that you can build the lamps in the exact same way. So they look the same way, but without the lights built in. Oh, the other ones are underneath the bamboo. That's what it is. So a couple of them go under the bamboo, a couple of them go under the stone lamps, and then they've got a couple of spares on top of that. So that's nice that they're, once again, listening to customers, including even relatively obscure comments from folks who want a Lumibricks set, but don't want necessarily to build all the wires. You get shaky hands or something, or just don't want to deal with that. You just like what it looks like. You want less effort to put it together. They're trying to help with that. Again, I paid just over $86 US, which is not a special price. Anybody could get it. It's a sale price, but they do sales all the time and had plenty of stock. The regular retail price is $115 US. For over 2,400 pieces, this is large. It is detailed, not as detailed on the inside as I would normally expect, especially from this company, but they're going with that minimalist theme intentionally, very clearly intentionally. So the inside of the house doesn't have a whole lot of things in it, but it doesn't feel wrong. It just feels like most stuff is stored away and kept clean and open because that's the style. But they do give you plenty of details around the outside. Plenty. Possibly even too much with the different colors and designs of lily pads down here. It's a joyous thing. Oh yeah, and the extra details of the prints that were totally unnecessary on the outside. It's joyous. It feels peaceful. It feels serene, just like it's supposed to. It actually feels that way, especially in person. There's something about these greens back here and their shape that really feels right to me. The balance here is nice. What I like least about it are two things. One, those connectors. Again, those connectors between the floors, those need to be fixed. They just need to be fixed. That's it. And I'll keep talking about them until they are fixed. You can fix them yourself, though, just by slicing a little bit of the studs off on the male side, the lower side. But then this corner right here doesn't look great. It's a tiny, tiny, small thing. This does need to be able to hinge. It needs to have some room to move like that. But I wish there was a block or something that I could fit right here, like the record store modular had something like that, just that would fit into a corner to fill that up. That's it. This is extra nice, actually having the battery box fully embedded, because if this was just simply attached to the outside, it would take away a lot, I think, from the feel. It would break the immersion. As it is, this thing can just stand just as it is, and it's camera friendly all the way around, with the exception of that one little corner bit. That's pretty nice. I'm happy with this. The value is outstanding by today's standards. It's where it should be for, or just pieces of plastic. Although the number of prints, again, it's a little extra. Maybe they're going a little bit too hard. I'm not complaining. I just want them to be successful because they're bringing good competition to the market. It's the most important thing. Helps everybody. Helps raise all the competition and every manufacturer to do better. And it helps consumers to see, what your dollar is actually worth when it comes to mass-produced ABS plastic. You should be able to get a lot for your money. And here you do. Thanks for watching. Hope that this was of value to you. If you do want to make a purchase, not necessarily of this set, but of anything from this company or any of the companies that I cover that have products that sell on Amazon either, please check one of my affiliate links down in the video description. It would really help me out. I get a tiny, tiny commission for any purchases that you make, but I do not want you to buy anything that you don't want to. It's just if you're going to purchase something, if you hit one of those links first, it changes nothing to your buying experience, doesn't change the price or anything. And yeah, it just helps me to be able to continue to do things like this, like buying this set with the help of your support, as well as the support of Patreon members and channel members on various channels that I've got going. Y'all are helping me out a lot because I have to buy a lot of this stuff and it costs a lot. It really adds up. So thank you for your support. Most importantly, though, thank you just for watching. I hope that I have brought you some value. I hope I have provided a service of some use to you here. And if I haven't, or if there's something I could do better, please let me know with constructive criticism. Bye for now.